Hello and welcome to NTD News Today. Kevin Hogan here. Let's take a look at our top stories. An update on last week's school shooting in Michigan. The suspect's parents now in custody facing involuntary manslaughter charges. We take a look at what the prosecutor and the defense are saying. Former Senator Bob Dole passes away at 98. The Republican was known for his deal-making and sharp tongue. He was nominated for president in 1996. And an Olympic-scale announcement is expected from the White House. A diplomatic boycott seems to be on the horizon ahead of the Beijing Winter Games. The New York City mayor says private sector workers will have to get a COVID-19 vaccine or get fired. He says it's a way to make it harder for workers to avoid getting the vaccine. Mayor de Blasio says he is using a preemptive strike against COVID. De Blasio made the announcement during an appearance on MSNBC. He says his decision is based on the emergence of the Omicron variant, colder weather, and upcoming holiday gatherings. Employees can provide verification to their employers by using a vaccine passport or the paper card that's provided at the time of vaccination. The mandate deadline is December 27th. New York City's measures have been challenged in court, but plaintiffs have failed to overturn any of them so far. De Blasio said he was confident the private sector mandate would also prevail. Health officials in Oregon are seeking to make an indoor mask mandate indefinite. This, as Nevada is now the first state to impose a surcharge on state workers who are unvaccinated.
Public health officials in Oregon recently lifted the state's outdoor mask mandate. Now they are working to keep a separate set of indoor mask requirements in place indefinitely. It would apply to places such as schools and hospitals. Local ABC affiliate KATU reported that the Oregon Health Authority sought to discuss a permanent mask rule on December 2nd. An Oregon health official told the local outlet, permanent doesn't mean the rule will never go away, but that it won't expire automatically unless it is repealed. What's more, on Thursday, Nevada became the first state to impose a surcharge on unvaccinated public workers. Come July 1st next year, non-compliant state employees will be charged $55 per month. The executive officer of the state's Public Employees Benefit Program Board said the money will help offset the cost of testing. The testing costs for employees covered by the board through September were estimated to be about $3.3 million. And a cruise ship with fully vaccinated staff and passengers had a COVID outbreak. 10 cases were reported on a Norwegian cruise line ship disembarking in New Orleans. That's according to the Louisiana Department of Health, but the agency did not reveal the conditions of those infected. The ship left New Orleans on November 28th with more than 3,200 passengers on board. The company said it is adhering to appropriate quarantine measures as new cases are identified. Furthermore, Senator Chuck Schumer urged Americans to seek out free at-home test kits. Schumer says these kits can help slow the spread of the Omicron variant. This comes just days after the strain was first detected in the U.S. On Sunday, community health centers started distributing the free COVID test kits. And while several states reported their first cases of Omicron on Friday, Delta remains the predominant strain, according to the CDC.
And now we look at some of the challenges small businesses are facing. Many of them are having to charge customers more due to costs brought on by inflation and supply chain disruptions. And while Dr. Fauci says COVID outbreaks are the biggest disruption to the workplace, an executive director at a small business organization says there are bigger challenges. Karen Harned at the Small Business Legal Center of the National Federation of Independent Businesses explains more on this.
Right now, again, small business owners are just trying to find, the labor shortage is real for them. And honestly, I can't say, more broadly other than anecdotally, but the small business owners I'm talking to, the labor shortage is caused by people not returning to work and their inability to find qualified candidates. In fact, that is also borne out in our monthly research. And the pandemic, while it has had impacts in the past, that is not the main driver of that labor shortage right now.
Well, studies show about 60% of small businesses support the vaccine mandate, and that's despite the labor shortages. What's your reaction to this?
Well, I can just speak for the NFIB members who I represent, and for them, the vast majority do not support the mandate. They have been very clear on that since we began asking the question over the summer. In fact, I think it was 83% or something had no intention of requiring their employees to, get vaccinated. So this is going against their wishes, from the NFIB perspective.
Well, the Department of Labor has said it is considering extending the vaccine or mask and testing mandate to businesses with less than 100 employees. Are small businesses equipped to handle these requirements?
No, this will even exacerbate this further. Look, this isn't even just about the fact that you've got the issue of whether or not your employees want to take the vaccine and any issues that might, follow from that, like you're potentially having to fire them or weekly tests, those sorts of things. It's also, there's tremendous record keeping burdens that are throughout this mandate, because you're going to have to keep individual files on individual employees with individual weekly tests. They've got to all be secured. I've got a restaurateur. He's like, I don't even know where I keep these files physically at my business. And so this, what has been the reality, and research has shown for years, decades, is that record keeping is a much bigger burden for small business owners than for their bigger corporate counterparts. It's a tremendous burden because it's the small business owner. They don't have a compliance officer on hand that can help them, navigate this and take care of the paperwork. It's the business owner that's going to be doing a lot of this work, record keeping and other type of work associated with the mandate.
A judge has imposed a combined $1 million bond for the parents of the Michigan teen charged with killing 4 students last week. Experts say that in the U.S., parents of alleged school shooters are rarely charged, but the prosecutor argues that in this case, the parents could have prevented it. NTD's Jessica Beatty reports.
And how are you pleading to count 4?
Not guilty.
The parents of accused Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley, each pleading not guilty to 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. The Oakland County prosecutor alleging the couple was criminally negligent by giving their son access to a gun.
It's locked or not, he had access to it. And all of this could have been prevented if he hadn't had access, or if just one of those parents had said, I'm concerned about what I'm seeing right now, and I also want you to know we just bought him a gun for Christmas.
The prosecutor also says Mrs. Crumbley went to this shooting range with her son. The parents' defense attorney saying the teen did not have free access to a gun.
But that gun was actually locked. And we need an opportunity to fight this case in court and not in the court of public opinion.
The Saturday morning arraignment happening hours after a manhunt for the Crumbleys came to an end. Police tracking the couple down and arresting them in a Detroit building after they failed to turn themselves in on Friday. Their defense attorney insists the Crumbleys were never on the run.
Our clients were absolutely going to turn themselves in. It was just a matter of logistics, and all the prosecution had to do was communicate with me about it.
The sheriff saying parents and son are on suicide watch just in case.
So they are in our jail, all 3 of them, the son and both parents. They are segregated, each individually in isolation. We have advanced watch on them.
An Oakley County judge set bond for the Crumbley parents at $500,000 each. The Crumbley's 15-year-old son, Ethan Crumbley, is accused of killing 4 students and wounding 7 other people Tuesday at Michigan's Oxford High School. He's charged as an adult with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of terrorism, among other charges. Jessica Beatty, NTD News.
The Biden administration is expected to announce a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Beijing Olympics this week. While the move would still allow U.S. athletes to compete, no U.S. government representatives would attend the event. President Biden told reporters last month he was contemplating a boycott to protest China's human rights abuses. Last month's virtual summit between Biden and Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping did not result in any significant progress. The diplomatic boycott is designed to put more pressure on China to reform its policies before the Winter Games begin on February 4th. The last time the U.S. fully boycotted the Olympics was back in 1980 when former President Jimmy Carter was in office. President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin will speak in a video conference tomorrow, but there's no word on how long the meeting will last. The talks come as tensions escalate between the U.S. and Russia over a Russian troop buildup on the Ukrainian border. Nearly 100,000 Russian soldiers are said to be stationed on the border of Ukraine. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said in a statement, President Biden will underscore U.S. concerns with Russian military activities on the border with Ukraine and reaffirm the United States' support for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. Former Senator and Republican presidential nominee Bob Dole has died. Dole's American journey took him from the plains of Kansas to World War II Europe and all the way to Capitol Hill, where he became one of the most powerful politicians of the 20th century.
Bob Dole was the kind of politician you'll have a hard time finding in Washington these days. Much of the country only saw the cartoon image, Hatchet Man.
Senator Dole has richly earned his reputation as a hatchet man tonight.
Sharp-tongued partisan.
A Jubai used election promise from my opponent.
In the Senate, where he spent the bulk of his political life, Dole became a master at forging compromise, working with Democrats to cobble together bills. He also was a driving force behind Washington's magnificent World War II memorial.
I've sort of become the unofficial greeter. I try to greet every group. I can't explain the emotion and what it means to one of these 85, 90, 95-year-old veterans who get a chance to touch and feel the World War II memorial. It's probably the best thing that's happened to them in years, and they're going to remember it the rest of their life.
Dole was one of those young Americans who went off to the war. On a hillside in Italy, an explosion severely damaged his shoulder and spinal cord. Dole spent 39 months in hospitals, hovering near death more than once.
First, I didn't think it was fair. Then I looked around in the next bed and they were taking somebody away who had passed away, or somebody had lost both legs or done something else. So I didn't feel so sorry for myself.
His right hand remained virtually useless for the rest of his life. His mind, however, was fine. Voters in his home state of Kansas sent Dole to Washington for 5 terms, where he thrived, becoming a Republican leader in the Senate. He was President Gerald Ford's running mate in 1976 and ran for president in 1980 and 1988, finally winning the Republican nomination in 1996.
William Jefferson Clinton has a job for 4 more years.
It didn't work out.
It's a lot more fun winning. It hurts to lose an election, but stay involved and keep fighting the good fight.
A 45-year political career was over. Dole moved on with grace. He poignantly saluted the casket of fellow Republican but frequent rival George Bush. And to the end, Dole kept the trademark humor so familiar to those who knew him and so surprising to those who did not.
We always tried to have a little fun. My view is if it's not any fun, it's not worth doing. You look at your life and on reflection, I think success and failure are not opposites. It's just part of your life.
In his honor, the flag at the U.S. Capitol in Washington flew at half-mast on Sunday. Dole announced in February 2021 that he'd been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. He is survived by his wife, former Senator Elizabeth Dole, and his daughter, Robin Dole. The last surviving officer of the military regiment that inspired the hit TV series Band of Brothers dies at 99. The actions of Edward Shames and Easy Company also inspired the hit book before the TV series. Shames was part of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division. He was involved in significant World War II battles. He made his first combat jump into Normandy on D-Day. His obituary says he volunteered for Operation Pegasus, fought in Operation Market Garden, and fought in the Battle of the Bulge. After World War II, Shames worked at the National Security Agency as an expert on Middle East affairs. He also served in the U.S. Army Reserve. Before retiring as a colonel. He continued to receive military honors up until his death. The head of a digital mortgage lender is taking heat after firing hundreds of workers on Zoom. Vishal Garg, CEO of Better.com, asked more than 900 employees to join him on a Zoom call, then told them their jobs were being terminated immediately. The call lasted less than 3 minutes and comes less than 4 weeks before Christmas. 9% of the company's workforce was laid off, including the company's entire diversity, equity, and inclusion recruiting team. According to Fortune magazine, the CEO later accused the employees of stealing from their colleagues and and customers by only working 2 hours a day. The laid-off employees will get a severance and benefits. Just ahead, Philadelphia celebrates the winter holidays with a grand parade. The event has helped rev up the city's festive mood in the run-up to the new year.
You worked hard for your money. You invest in stability for your retirement and your family's future, to build and leave them with something greater. The next unprecedented financial crisis, political misstep, or unstable government can depreciate it all away. It was called the gold standard for a reason, the financial preservation of tomorrow. Diversify your assets against inflation, market volatility, and the unknown with real money. Hedge your wealth with the purest form of money, physical gold and silver. Because any currency printed on paper can be manipulated. What's backing up your IRA? Do what you need to do right now to be prepared with the Reagan Gold Group. Visit now, rggusakit.com, or call us at 866-912-1384. Receive up to $2,500 in free silver coins and a free safe with your new precious metals IRA. Call now.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. Cancel culture has not only affected myself and MyPillow, but millions of you out there. Before all this started, I had already written in my memoir, I dedicate this book to anyone that's looking for hope. Well, right now, we're all looking for hope. I believe that my story is going to bring inspiration and hope to everyone. By the time you're done reading my book, you will believe that with God, all things are possible. To thank you all for your support, I'm offering some of my best prices ever on MyPillow products, including this exclusive bundle. You get my book and these 5 MyPillows. They all have beautiful scenes and verses from the Bible, such as Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. This 6-pack bundle is regularly $219. Now it's just $99.98 and free shipping with your promo code. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below. Thank you and God bless.
Philadelphians are getting into the festive spirit with a little help from the city's first holiday parade of the year. While the sights and sounds of the occasion celebrated more than just Christmas, the event also rang in early hopes for the new year. Let's take a look.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas! Let me hear you make some noise, Philadelphia!
Philadelphia kicked off its all-new Visit Philly holiday parade this weekend. Teams of floats, dancers, and musicians marched down Market Street all the way to City Hall. Bystanders praised the city's vibrancy and culture.
It's wonderful. I'm very impressed, to be honest.
Well, it's so beautiful to see all the cultures and the cheerleaders and all the above. This gave me a happy moment for sure.
I am way too excited. We are back. We're still in the midst of the pandemic, but we're able to celebrate this year, and I'm so happy to be back.
The parade was the first in the city to mark the winter holidays, including Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve, and Chinese New Year. As people celebrated, we asked them about their wishes for the year ahead.
Pay less taxes. The end of the pandemic.
More peace everywhere, within myself and other people as well.
The parade also featured performances by the Falun Dafa Association's Divine Marching Band and Waist Drum team.
Beautiful. It was a great performance. I really loved it. It's a great, the way everybody went at the same time, it was just beautiful to watch.
They're fantastic. They're really great.
The drummers, I love their white outfits, and the flautists, and it just kept going. They were so good, so good.
Also attending the event, a jolly old elf.
I came down personally to see the parade because I heard this was a diversity parade, and that's very important to Santa. So I wanted to see everything that was happening here. I'm so proud of the city of Philadelphia doing such a great parade. This is awesome, absolutely awesome.
The parade ended in the evening with Santa sending out holiday greetings to the crowd. NTD News, Philadelphia.
Customs and Border Protection are telling holiday shoppers to be on alert. More than 13,000 counterfeit designer products were seized in a cargo shipment from China. Customs officers at the Los Angeles Long Beach Seaport intercepted shipments of fake designer bags and clothing with fake logos of Gucci, Chanel, Fendi, YSL, and Louis Vuitton. The agency says if the seized merchandise was genuine, it would have a combined value of almost $30.5 million. The agency also says counterfeit products are now being posted as seemingly legitimate listings on well-known websites, especially when shoppers are looking for deals during the holiday season. The port director says the goods are often of poor quality and can be unsafe. Customs and Border Protection says China is still the primary source of the fake goods. In 2020, China was the source of 50.5% of all fake seized goods. The slopes and lifts at the Sunday River Resort in Maine were packed with revelers sporting Santa's signature red suit, and the festive event is for a good cause.
I've been here for the last 17 years participating in this event because it's the best way to start the season, and I also truly believe in mission for this event.
So you were like breezing down the mountain and you could feel the snow going across your face, and all the Santas looked like red jelly beans.
Amid the merriment of 232 skiers and snowboarders in Santa suits was one skier who opted to wear a green Grinch costume inspired by the Dr. Seuss book, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is the 21st annual Santa Sunday. This year's event raised over $4,600 for the River Fund and charity organization that introduces young people to the benefits of outdoor recreation, according to their website. Authorities say an avalanche has killed 4 skiers in central Austria. A 655-foot wide sheet of snow has hit 8 people on Saturday while skiing in the Twang area in Salzburg province. Police say 3 of the skiers died in the snow, 2 were partly buried and able to free themselves. Rescuers were able to locate 2 of the others with the help of their search devices. One was already dead and the other later died at a hospital. Balloonists took to the skies in southern Spain for the Hot Air Balloon Kings Cup 2021. The best 25 balloon pilots from Spain and other European countries competed in 2 different races. The first event of Spain's King Cup consisted of flying towards physical and digital targets with some coordinates. In the second one, pilots had to catch up with a hot air balloon that had taken off 10 minutes before the rest to get points. Millions of monarch butterflies descend on their sanctuary in the central Mexican state of Michoacan. Their arrival creates an annual spectacle that draws tourists, scientists, and locals alike. The monarch butterflies flee the cold winters of Canada and northern United States and travel thousands of miles to hibernate and reproduce in the temperate woods of central Mexico. Hundreds of trees crowded with butterflies can be seen along Mexico's Monarch Reserve after a 2,000-mile journey. The butterflies have come to represent an important source of income for nearby residents. Local farmers own much of the pine and fir forest where the monarchs clump together in trees. Pet adoption goes viral in Russia. This is after the St. Petersburg soccer team Zenit held a special event promoting local dog shelters. FC Zenit players walked out onto the field carrying puppies looking for a new home. The Zenit website states that all the dogs are several months old and can be adopted by request. A video of the soccer players with the dogs has been viewed millions of times on Twitter. The group Animals Wellness in Russia says there were over 600,000 stray dogs in Russia in 2020. Thanks for watching. At NTD, we're honored to be your source for the news. Catch us again tonight at 6:30 Eastern. In New York City, I'm Kevin Hogan.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Did you know YouTube only keeps selective videos on its platform? So if you want to make sure you get the full picture, just subscribe to our newsletter. Go to newsletter.ntd.com and sign up. It's free.